Good morning,
Good
everybody.
morning.
Hey, happy Friday.
Yeah. Hello again from
Yay.
Amarillo, Texas.
Yep.
We're still in West Texas.
Mhm.
The freezing conditions finally broke. So we're warming up a little bit, got some sunshine and
Absolutely.
headed back north today to Oklahoma. So all good. So just a couple of quick things. We wanted to recap a couple of announcements. Remember, we got our March 30th thing. We've asked everybody to save that date. We're finalizing the agenda, and we've got a ton of people confirmed. So we want to kind of have everybody keep that date in mind.
So shout out, tell us where you're listening from, and you don't have to include the weather. But it's like, oh my gosh, when you stay at a hotel, the first thing when you turn on the TV is usually the Weather Channel, and it's like there's been a lot of freezing
Crazy
rain
weather,
and all sorts of stuff. It's been really an interesting last few days across the U.S. So I hope everyone's keeping warm and safe. And
for those who asked, my mother's surgery went perfectly. She's
Yeah.
on the mend and checking out or getting discharged today.
When we're done
she's doing
here,
well.
we're going to go
thank
pick
you
her
for the
up.
well wishes, everyone.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, March 30th. Anything else?
No, I don't think so. Not today.
All righty. We have a special guest today. It's our monthly check-in with Mr. Jeremy Beck from NIADA. He's the Director of Dealer Development, and just really happy that you are here today. And
he's joining us from Dealer Development Headquarters in McKinney, Texas. Is that what that is?
Dealer Development Headquarters, yes.
Yeah, something like that. I feel like my whole house is. I think my wife and my kids feel like my whole house is our headquarters too. Because
really,
it's part of the thing. You guys are in a busy crunch time for sure. So a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind the last really since I came on board 5 months ago, but certainly over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, it's really the last month and a half. NADA.
Yeah.
The Dealer Performance Group. You were in Orlando, right? For the Dealer Performance Group.
So Melanie and I were at NADA for meetings and then flew out from NADA to Orlando for the DPG announcement, and then flew right back. It was a whirlwind trip for sure, but it was amazing.
I have to believe folks that are tuning in know what we're referring to when we say the Orlando Dealer Performance Group. That's they were teeing you up to share with those folks who didn't catch the morning show on Monday that there's a big shift on the dealer performance groups and the merger with NIADA. So you want to share with our listeners kind of what's happened there?
Yeah, it's kind of to your point. Scott Allen and Rob Fox obviously were on your show on Monday morning to make the big announcement, but Friday night, Dealer Performance Groups, which was part of Buckeye. NIDA and Buckeye announced that there's a reintegration of the DPG program, the Dealer Performance Groups program, back over under the NIDA leadership. So huge announcement, and really kind of Jim and Michelle, we've been talking for months about the unity of the industry, and specifically to buy here, pay here, but obviously the overall independent industry. And this was really kind of a reunification of our 20 group programs. And now it's made NIADA the largest 20 group program for independent dealers. I was just doing an update, getting ready for our board meeting next week. We have 13 buy here, pay here groups, 20 groups. We have 2 service groups. We have 5 retail groups. We have 2 finance groups and 1 lease here, pay here group. So just a huge group. We we brought over David Brotherton with the reintegration. So super excited to have him rejoin NIDA. He was at NIDA for many years. Prior to that, he was at Buyrider, so he understands the buy here, pay here space tremendous. And so he just adds to the strength that we already have with Bill, Ben, and Ed on our moderator team. And it's been a lot of work, a lot of work. But it is exciting.
I want to make sure I got the number right. You said at the beginning you have 13 buy here, pay here groups?
Yep, 13 buy here, pay here groups.
Yeah.
Buy here, pay here.
Yeah,
interesting.
that's just buy here, pay here dealers and into our groups.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just a obviously a tremendous amount of focus on buy here, pay here. We're going to
Mhm.
continue to grow the focus on retail, but right now, I mean, we are the 20 group program for buy here, pay here dealers, and so it's an exciting time. I sent out a letter to all of our members, to all of NIADA's members yesterday, and I really kind of set the strategy on how we move forward with
Good.
our 20 group program and how we move forward better together with DPG and
Mhm.
NIDA dealer 20 groups merger. And I really focused on, my priorities coming into the association, over all of the things that I'm over, but specifically 20 groups were three things. One, stabilize the program; two, grow the program; and three,
Mhm.
innovate the program.
Mhm.
We have done a phenomenal job of stabilizing the program, and we have done an amazing job of growing the program.
Mhm.
Now we've got to continue that growth and move into our innovation phase,
Nice.
and really look at it and say, what can we do? Let's build off of the strengths of both of the programs, because
Right.
both have their
Mhm.
strengths. Let's build off of those strengths and let's innovate the program to build and bring more value to our dealers. And I am super excited to be doing it with the group that we have, and obviously, being the largest for the independent dealers for 20 groups, it's going to be a fun ride.
Yeah, and I would say, on the innovation track, there's, we Michelle and I talk about this some. It's like we're so fortunate to be at a time in our industry where the the data, the technology has really moved in our
Yeah,
favor in this segment.
Mhm.
So there's a ton of data being assembled. There's folks out there, figuring out the AI elements, and so that we can
yeah,
all make better decisions from the data that's coming. And it couldn't come at a better time, because in the coming year or two, buy here, pay here dealers are going to have some tough decisions to make, around their business. And so having data and all that innovation is going to be, really useful to them. And so plugging into a 20 group and being able to, leverage that from typically, folks who aren't familiar with 20 group process, typically what you're going to have is a group of dealers who aren't inside your competitive radius.
yeah.
So you get a chance to sit in a room and see comparative numbers and have a conversation around that, and be able to speak freely, because you're not, you don't have your competitor in the room. And so it's a great environment for those not familiar with the 20 group.
It really is, and in that letter, to all of our members, and really kind of explaining what 20 groups are and the advantage of NIDA. Obviously, 20 groups, we talked about specifically what you just said, like getting into a group where you're not competing against the other people that are in there, right? Because if you're in there with dealers that are in your market area or close to you or whatever, then you're going to be guarded with the information that you share, and you get away from really the focus of the 20 groups, which is to strategize, to challenge, and ultimately to have that peer accountability.
Mhm.
That's really kind of to look at the insights, challenge you where you're doing well, share your insights, share your growth, share what's working for you. You don't want to share that with somebody who's competing
Mhm.
for the same customer as you. But
Right.
then, Jim and Michelle, we talked about this multiple times. The big piece for us is the advocacy piece, right? And being able to use our 20 groups as a elite board to understand the issues and the challenges that are facing our dealers. It's
Mhm.
one of many avenues that we have to do that, but it's a big avenue for us to understand, so that then Brett and his team and us as the executive team, we can go and we can engage with the state associations, the federal regulatory bodies, the Senate and government bodies, to really be able to bring forward the issues that will impact directly your business.
Right.
And then I think the other big piece of participating in a 20 group, specifically within IDA, right, is that we're a nonprofit. We're a 501c6. So every dollar that is invested in our program is a dollar that's invested in the industry and into your dealership. And I think, when you couple all of that, or pair all of that with the power of a 20 group,
Mhm.
it's really massive.
Yeah.
I've heard really amazing stories about, you talk about you keep them outside of your competitive radius. It's also bringing dealers together that have similar
Yeah.
challenges. And so like size and all of that. So they have
Yep.
similar challenges. So you're not being paired with someone who's only got a few hundred or 500 accounts to someone who's got 2,000 accounts.
Yeah.
And that one of the stories that I've heard repeated different and with different groups is when something happens, when there's something that is not expected happens with one of the dealers, that it's like you've got a group of mentors and you've got a group of people that are going to
Yeah.
help you navigate through whatever that challenge is. And it just is really bringing together core groups of people that are, they mentor each other and they are helping each other.
It is. Yeah, I would even go further than mentorship. I mean, you'll hear a lot of people who are in 20 group programs, and as I've gotten around to visit a lot of our 20 groups, it's a family, Michelle. It
Mm-hmm.
is, and family protect family, and family take care of family, and family give tough love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you're really suffering here. Let's talk about what we need to do as a group to be able to help you achieve and hit your goals. And hey, you're really succeeding here. Why don't you tell the rest of the family what you're doing differently so that we can all help? And that's really kind of the advantage of, not being in a competitive, not having a competitor in the room with you, is that you are confident and comfortable to share those ideas. So it's more than just a mentorship. I think that's a great term, but I think it's really a family
Yeah.
that is dedicated to help each other.
I think the other thing too, we see, of course, we're out there on social media a lot, and social media
Yeah.
has some really great, benefits. One of the things we see, though, is dealers asking questions, newer dealers asking questions on social media about stuff, and they get a lot of feedback.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the feedback is maybe from somebody who's not doing it any better than we are.
Right.
So that's the thing you don't know. And whereas when you're sitting in a 20 group room, you have the composite, somebody speaking, whether their inventory turn ratio is better than yours, so you
Right.
have their number,
Mm-hmm.
kind of who to listen to, and kind of,
Yeah.
who's
The,
on the left side of the page, as they say. And so that's kind of where you want to be.
there
So
is no rock to hide under when you're in a 20 group. I mean, and look, it's one of the beauties of this business and one of the beauties of the 20 group program.
Mhm.
I was talking to Chris Leadham yesterday, and he made a statement that 20 groups have been around for 80 years, right? So when something's been around for that long, it
mhm.
works, and
Mhm.
there's a power behind it. And it really is kind of one of those beauties to really be able to say, and to sit in those rooms and to have those tough conversations,
Right.
and to have yeah, you're kind of full of it, right? Your numbers don't say what your words are saying, and
Uh-huh.
they're not afraid to call you out.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes you better because of it. So
Yeah.
it's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a good value. And so we know that, there are going to be dealers at various stages of their business that could justify getting involved in that. I'm a former 20 group member. I can explain, the benefits that I certainly saw as a group
Mhm.
member. And so, yeah, we know that can be a great solution for many.
Yeah.
And so I think you had some other things you wanted to share besides the 20 group thing, I think.
Yeah, we're obviously, I think the last time I was on here, we were. Seems like every time I come on here, we've just
Lots.
made a big announcement,
Yeah.
right? So we launched our new CPO program, which is a true certified pre-owned program for phenomenal administrators. And you get the Carquetta piece that is, look, the initial Carquetta piece, the Carquetta platform is free with the CPO program, which is a huge value to our dealers.
Mhm.
You get access to 16,000 repair facilities with TechNet, and whether you and your customers do too. So whether you have your own service facility or whether you don't have your own service facility, whether it's internal facing or customer facing, you've got, with this program, your consumers have access to 16,000 repair facilities nationwide. So you
Mhm.
can count that this is improving the customer experience. This product is improving the customer
Mhm.
experience. And so we've seen a tremendous amount of just informative, wanting to know more, and dealers enrolling in it. I was talking to one of our administrators this morning. Just in the last couple of weeks, they've enrolled 30 dealers in this program, in the NIADA CPO program. And I say all the time, and it sounds like a broken record, but it's a true certified program. It was built to be a true certified pre-owned program.
Mhm.
It puts you on par with the manufacturers and gives you a leg up on your independent competition that isn't offering a true CPO program. So that is in full swing. We're
Mhm.
about to relaunch our certified master dealer program. So I'm
Mhm.
super excited to relaunch that. Janet Statterman, who is our director of education, has a collegiate educational background
Mhm.
and has just done a phenomenal job of it, working with Gordon. I know you had Gordy on the call or on the
Mhm.
show the other day,
Mhm.
working with Gordy to really reboot that program. And it's gonna be amazing. So stay tuned. We're getting ready to relaunch that and to have a huge program. And then obviously we got 20 group. I mean, we got the convention coming up right in June, and so we are in full swing of planning that convention and doing some really, really, really cool things, new things that we haven't done before,
Mhm.
and really trying to focus on that innovation, right? To not do the same things that we've always done before, and to kind of get stuck into that that rut. And so
Mhm.
I'm super excited. Been working with the board to bring a lot of new attributes and new things and focus on education, true education at our convention. And we're going to have, the largest exhibit hall we've ever had. And we're planning to have the largest dealer attendance that we've ever had. And
Excellent.
so it's going to be a huge, huge show.
So I got two things to come back to about what you said. Where is the June convention, and do you have the dates handy?
I do. So the convention is the 19th through the 22nd, June 19th through the 22nd. It's in Las Vegas at the Wynn. So you can go to niada.com, or you can and then click on events, and you'll be able to see then the listing of the June show. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know how our events team did it. Have no clue how they did it, but they got a negotiated rate at the Wynn of $174 a night. You're never going to stay at the Wynn in Las Vegas for $174 a night outside of this show. So if you do nothing else, if you come for no other reason, come for the 174 a night at the Wynn.
Just say you stayed
It's a fantastic resort. Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
For sure. So yeah, then the other thing I want to circle back to was you mentioned the Calcutta piece on that CPO, and I just, for those I'm not familiar with, like if you wanted to share kind of what that.
Yeah. So, great question, Jim, and thanks. So, Carketta is an amazing partner of NIDA's, and what Carketta is it's it allows you to really kind of bring transparency and tracking to the reconditioning process. So, essentially, what you'll do when you engage with one of the administrators, you'll go onto Carketta's website. You'll sign our code of ethics. You'll take a quick 5-minute training video on the certified program that tells you about the attributes. And then Carketta's program is going to be able to show you all of the inventory that you have in your current inventory that qualifies for the CPO program. And then you can begin a digital inspection right there. And that digital inspection then stays with that vehicle listing as it goes out, as you go out, and consumers can actually see when they are shopping for their vehicle, they will actually be able to see. Look at that. Bill's actually at home. I can't believe that.
I knew it was going to pause.
Don't unpack the suitcase, Bill. Unpack.
Bill's slacking. He's actually at home. I can't believe it. But your consumers will be able to see exactly the work that was done on that vehicle, and so it brings a level of transparency, which brings confidence to the consumer in the vehicle that they're looking at and gives them a reason to buy. And the amazing thing is whether you have an external service facility that does your recon or an internal, the Carketta system fits in perfectly. And that external service facility can use the Carketta platform for your dealership as well. It is an amazing piece of software. And normally, obviously, there's a charge for all of that. There's not a charge for that with the CPO program. And obviously, Carketa, gets exposure, and there are many other attributes to the Carketa platform that you can engage within your dealership. But that initial piece is included in the program, in the CPO program. And so they've been an amazing partner for it. And I think the biggest piece for me is it brings transparency to the inspection process for the consumer, which builds confidence in their ability to buy that vehicle from you.
Yeah.
Transparency is like one of those things that we talk an awful lot about with the White Hat Way. It's like you gotta be transparent with your team and with your customers.
Yeah,
Right.
we just talked about on Wednesday, our show was around the theme of trust, and we did some polls out there, and dealers said, I mean, we must have 60 or 70 respondents so far on our Facebook poll, and we just asked a really simple yes or no question: does being trusted as a used car dealer translate into more volume? Like, does it translate into more sales? And if the response was 70, how many responses we had? We only had 2 that said no.
Yeah.
So what it tells you is that dealers, because it's a hard thing to kind of measure, right? It's hard to really know. But if the dealers themselves say, yes, being trusted helps me create more volume of sales, that's really all we need to know. Like if they're prepared to go out and work to be trusted. So I think what I hear in that with the Carketa piece of what you're doing with the CPO program, I think that only gets better, Jeremy, as consumers get to better understand the NIADA brand. Like, I think currently, a typical consumer might not be familiar with who, kind of what NIADA is all about. But I think as that gains in traction, then that program only gains in popularity and value for the dealers. So that's good. And so we're happy to help spread the message about that because we know that's awesome. a strong offering.
Well, we are always happy to help any way we can.
Y'all are amazing. I appreciate all that y'all do for the industry, certainly for NIADA as well.
I feel like we're just getting started. I mean, I think
I know.
I can tell you, we kind of, in fact, I can share with you, Jeremy, Michelle and I talked about that. I wanted to kind of, be able to, in the theme of transparency here, I wanted to have a chance to share with you a little bit about what Michelle and I use called a vivid vision. And that comes from Cameron Harold. It's somebody that is a business coach and executive. And so vivid visioning is really just about creating a clear vision for your future and what that looks like. And that helps you better navigate in all your daily decisions about where you want to end up. And for us, as you know, we've invited you to a meeting around basic education, and we're just kind of marching forward on those things. And I just, in the theme of transparency, I would just say to anybody listening that we're not doing anything that's intended to be apart from NIADA. We're over here just trying to bring whatever resources we can bring to kind of work on the things where we know we can add value. And we're very much focused on, creating online platforms, give dealers access to education from all the great educators, all the great, experts in our space, to be able to, build a platform that just makes that more accessible to dealers.
Whether it be recorded or live.
Yeah.
Just a lot more accessibility.
Yeah. And part of where that factors in for us, Jim and Michelle will obviously, of course, across the next 3 years of our vision strategy, we will be making a living, but our real, target is to have this online education be available to support some of the other initiatives that are kind of on our roadmap. And those things are also not meant to be apart from NIADA. Like we anticipate that we'll be able to use that to roll out some programs in the coming years that will help dealers who are new to buy here, pay here step in with tons of resources, because there's a big void, currently.
Well, and I think it builds into, Melanie has said this since she took the position as interim CEO. Y'all have been saying it for forever, certainly since I've known you. It builds in the unity of the industry. And at the end of the day, we all have value to be able to deliver to our dealers, and we all have value that we should and can be delivering to our consumers.
Right.
And there's enough business to go around for everybody. And I think, the more that we work and collaborate together to make our industry better and to make our industry stronger, the more that trust gets built with the customer. Trust equals confidence. Confidence equals their ability to buy, right? And their desire to buy from you. And the more that we can facilitate that as industry partners, as industry association, as industry, people who care and love this industry, the better we're all going to be together as an industry.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so we see the opportunity, and Michelle and I really just made the decision. We've talked about it in the past. We're now moving forward on some consumer education. We see that with a lot of our clients, that our clients really need to be able to help their consumers, those people, even maybe they're actively shopping, and they need help to help the consumer better understand why they can do certain things and not do other things, like you just said as an example, just one example. And so this is where we find ourselves working in the trenches and seeing that, firsthand. And of course, I was a dealer myself for 7 years, so I lived it, and we worked with enough dealerships that there are a lot of consumers out there that just really don't understand. It makes the whole transaction part a lot more difficult than it needs to be. We can help get consumers better educated on some of these things. So we're starting to create material that will certainly be a benefit to our clients, and we're happy to make it available to the larger industry, just because we know folks out there, consumers, need to better understand kind of what happens in this segment, how it works, and what's possible and what's often not possible. And so that's kind of where we're going. Yeah.
Excellent.
Anything else today?
I can't think of anything else
Jeremy's
today.
got a ton of stuff to do. We probably should just let him.
There's so much in my head. It's all rattling around because my wife tells me there's of empty space up there, so there's a lot of capacity.
Jeremy, would you stick around for just a minute for after we close?
Absolutely.
We can just chat for just a sec, and thank
Absolutely.
you so much for joining us. And we'll see you.
Thanks
We'll
for
see
having
you next month, unless there's something really big that we need to talk about.
You never know.
You never know. All right. Thanks so much for joining us, Jeremy.
Stand by.
All right. Well,
it's just
Friday.
another example. I mean, Jeremy
Yeah.
is part of an executive team that just continues to amaze. I mean, the team that they've assembled at NIADA is really just doing a lot of great things. And boy, they're working hard to make a hard turn on some things. And the evidence is out there. I mean, they're just really doing a lot of incredible things.
Yeah.
So happy to see that.
Well, hope you all have a great weekend. We're so grateful that you joined us today, whether or not you joined us live or you join us in a recording a little bit later. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend, guys.